Dookie Chain, Van Styles, Tash to my left, Hush behind the cameras, and Suriel in the studio today. Special guest.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming through. Lynn native.
Yeah.
Okay. Massachusetts your whole life?
I mean, it was a couple years I lived in Orlando.
Okay.
But that's about it.
Too hot down there, so welcome back.
Yeah. All right.
On the drive over here, I listened to your 2018 album.
Yep. Blank Slate.
Blank Slate, yeah.
Yep.
The shit was fire.
Thank you.
It definitely just had me like in another zone.
All right.
Like the beat selection's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely like fire production. I think I liked pretty much every song on the album.
Thank you. Yeah, short album, 10 tracks.
Was that your first album?
Yeah, I recorded it. I wrote all the songs in the garage, my aunt's garage.
Okay.
So all the songs are like all the beats were from YouTube.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so you just got a good ear.
They just happen to sound. They just happen to sound like cohesive, but
yeah, it sounds super cohesive.
I just want to interject right there because that's something that's so different in
generations.
Because the fact that like Hush tells me all the time, oh, just go on YouTube, type in like Jay-Z type beat,
right?
And it's like fucking blah. But that's something that you could never like. Not even like that. The catalog wasn't there. Yeah. Like the actual physical catalog wasn't there. But not even just that. Like you would never do something like that. That's like. That's like disgusting. like I'm on some serious shit.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
I hope you're gonna reel it back in here.
You know exactly what I'm saying. From a pure hip hop, historian standpoint.
Right.
The art of hip hop. But that's not saying it's not what you do. It's a generational thing too.
Right.
But like. That's crazy. Like to not know the producer, to not have any input of like making like the beat like with the, because you used to go to the fucking studio with the producer and sit and like make the record and like make a whole like usually one Nas was the first one that used different producers on a record. Usually it was like one guy.
Oh, was he the first one?
Dre was the first,
one
but
of the first.
He was like the first big one. Like,
Dr. Dre just said the same thing you said. He's like, yo, you used to have one dude lock in.
Well, yeah, he said we need to get back to that. Yeah. But that's crazy though, because I never would have guessed that. It would have never crossed my mind in a million years listening to this album.
Yeah.
So it works. Damn, that's scary.
It's not for better or for worse. Am I still coming through?
But I'm just saying it works. Yeah, like it worked on that album.
It's just a weird thing that like.
So you didn't even know who the producers were?
No idea.
No idea. That's so wild. That is. You're right. That's the craziest shit I've heard all year.
Wow. I mean, it's coming.
I think you're the first artist. I just never had the discussion. We've had a lot of like, I guess, artists from our generation in here.
Yeah.
I haven't had the discussion.
No, because I know Hush does it. Hush makes beats, and he still does that.
It's easy.
I've been making beats for 10 years. I'll grab a YouTube beat, but now I'm on some new shit. I be making AI beats, so I have the full rights.
Right. That's another thing.
Which is another thing, yeah, because you write like make a beat that sounds like an owl eating spinach in a palm tree wearing slippers, and like it will do it.
Yeah.
Well, you can feed it samples. So like what I'll do, at least to have some control, is I'll chop up a sample in Fruity Loops and then feed that sample to the AI, and then make a bunch of different ones from the same sample, and then take those pieces and make.
But now he's back to fucking not owning the shit again.
No, well, yeah. So sample, no, but I still own the shit. Like,
But what I just said though, you can really do that. You can write in like ridiculous shit, and it will make a weird beat. And you could like throw like a flute in that, and like it will like redo it and put a flute in it.
This is too wild.
Because I do that.
Suriel, did you make the whole album on your laptop then?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's so crazy. I mean, it's such a good, cohesive album.
Yeah.
No. I recorded it at a studio.
Oh, you did?
But I wrote the songs, like all the rough versions, in the garage.
Okay, you didn't record the final version.
The final version was
got mastered at a studio.
Right.
Okay, that's why. I was like, damn, that's like pretty impressive.
So your beginning, you said you were in Orlando for a while.
Yeah.
Is that?
Well, Orlando when I was like 11 and 12.
Okay, so you moved to Boston 11 or 12.
Yeah.
Moved to Lynn?
Lynn. No. So I lived in Lynn when I was like 1 to like 8. That was like where I lived there. Then I lived in Florida from like 8 to 12. Then I came back. I lived in a shelter home in Haverhill from like 12 to 13. And then I just moved around mad places.
Wait, so how did you end up in a shelter?
Yeah.
So
that's why we're gonna,
Yeah. So my album was,
So you moved to Orlando. You're in Lynn. You moved to Orlando with family.
With my family, yeah.
Okay, so you're in Orlando. You have to move back to Lynn at 12, 13, you said?
Yeah. Well, no, Haverhill.
Haverhill. With family?
With my mom's friend.
With your mom. So what happens in between that?
So what happened was, which we lived in. So my mom found a new guy that she married.
Okay.
And we went to live in Florida, and then that relationship just got messed up. Like, it was kind of abusive at one point, so she tried to escape from it. So we lived with her friend from Lynn, that was her friend from Lynn who had moved to Haverhill. So we lived in her house for a couple like months.
With your mother too?
Yeah, with my mom and my sisters,
in Haverhill.
Two sisters.
Okay.
I have
In
three
Haverhill.
sisters, but two of them we lived
You
in,
guys all moved up as a unit.
to Haverhill in my mom's friend's
your mom's
house.
friend's house, okay.
And
Got
so
it.
then, after a while, my mom wanted to get an apartment and stuff like that, Section 8 or housing or whatever. So we moved to a shelter home to help facilitate that.
Okay.
Oh, so the whole family moved there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your dad? Did you know your dad? Was he just never in the picture?
I knew my dad, but he's just, he was never really in the picture like that, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you don't really mention him at all on that album. You mentioned being raised by a single mother.
Yeah.
You don't.
I know him.
Mhm.
He helped out every once in a while when he wanted to, but it wasn't like always a consistent thing. So I was kind of like, I never really relied on him like that.
Okay. Gotcha.
So during this part of your life, how
Yeah.
old are you right now?
I'm 29.
29.
Yeah.
So this is 13, 14 years ago?
Yeah.
12 years ago? Okay.
Yeah.
So you're out of the shelter. You guys do that. When does hip hop come into play? Like, when does that come into, like, start
Hip-hop-
making music?
Yeah,
Like,
hip hop happened at the shelter home.
Okay.
Well, before that, my sister was a singer. Like, she liked to sing
Okay.
for fun. So I always would help her write songs because she couldn't write songs. So I was like 7, 8, 9, whatever, just helping her write like pop songs. And then like I just got really infatuated with like Kanye West, like All Falls Down, or like Eminem. Just Eminem was crazy at the time.
So
Ludacris.
is Kanye West like your first, not your intro to hip hop, but is Kanye West like your first, like, well, maybe is Kanye West your intro to hip hop?
No, my intro to hip hop would probably be Eminem or Ludacris.
Once again, this is just bringing me
Crazy,
back
right?
to Benzino saying black dudes from the city do not listen to Eminem, which has been proved wrong again and again
I don't
in
bump,
this studio.
I don't bump Eminem all the time, but Eminem was definitely a huge impact for me, for sure, my
Yeah.
whole life.
So when
Because we just had King Ace the General. He was saying the same exact
Yeah.
thing. That was one of his main
because they come
influences.
from that age group of when Eminem was writing crazy.
You couldn't
like,
be. I mean, if you
Yeah.
you couldn't miss the 2000s with Eminem. I mean,
and all the stuff the arguments that I was bringing to Benzino about like his writing ability and changing the writing and all that
Yeah.
shit is exactly what.
Wait,
these
so
kids
what
grew
was
up
your
on.
first Eminem album? 'Cause-
the Eminem album that I really, really thought was crazy,
yeah.
Eminem Show.
Really?
The
Well,
red,
well,
red
well,
curtain.
what's
oh
your-
no,
what's
no,
your-
sorry. The Eminem show is amazing.
That's
That
the
is
best
that.
one to
Okay,
me.
can a
Yeah.
bitch don't want no beef with Slim? No,
Yeah.
not even on my. Okay, I was thinking because Encore for some reason.
No,
I was,
that's the
because that
terrible
is the
one.
worst fucking
Because
Eminem.
like cleaning out my closet, my dad
Yeah.
used to bump
Oh,
that
yeah,
song.
yeah, that's
My
a good
dad used to
song.
love that song, and my parents are Dominican. He's like Spanish, like
Okay.
he didn't even like really know what he was talking about, but he used to bump that song, cleaning
So
out my
your
closet.
father like didn't really speak English like that and would listen.
He speaks English, but he loved Eminem. Like everybody loved Eminem, like global phenomenon.
Yo.
That's what it is. Like
When I was playing your top songs,
Yeah.
it went into a song that was all in Spanish, I think,
Oh, I don't know why that is. There's another artist.
featuring you.
No, not featuring me. I have no relation to
Oh,
that
there's a
song.
different.
Yeah.
It went into a different Surreal.
I don't know why it's
but
on my
Beck, so you
account.
missed what he said too. He said my father used to bump "Cleaning Out My Closet,"
Right, even though-
specifically, which is a song I used to drive around the work truck bumping, like
Yeah.
the work truck. So I'm already like, so that's the generational divide with this. So, what's your introduction to hip hop though? Like, what's the first thing of hip hop that you heard that you were
You
like,
can't
oh
ask his.
shit?
You can't ask his first cassette though.
No, 'cause
No.
it's probably like his first CD or MP3 maybe.
Yeah.
So my first intro that made me like realize I wanted to make hip hop type
No,
thing,
no.
or that influenced me like
Your
that.
the first time you heard hip hop.
It was probably Move Bitch by Ludacris.
Oh, that's
Saying.
Realistically.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like,
it was
probably
so.
that.
Is that the like? So then, from the first time you heard it, like, what's the song that like you? So now you hear "Move Bitch Get Out the Way," Ludacris. Fucking is that was a Chicken and Beer album?
That's Fast and Furious
Fast-
soundtrack, I think.
No, but it's on an album too. I
Wait,
think
how old are
Chicken
you,
and Beer.
Hush?
34.
34. Okay.
So when do you start? So from "Move Bitch Get Out the Way," when do you start thinking I can do this?
So it was around the time like when I was like 9 or 10, I was still writing songs for my sister sometimes, right? And I asked her one day, I was like, "Yo, you should be a rapper," and she's like, "No, girls don't really rap like that." And then I
Which
was
is
just
crazy.
And in my head, I'm like, I was like, that would be really cool if I could write raps, but I didn't really take it that serious. But until I moved to the shelter home, and then I was like really diving into music. Like I was really listening to albums. Like I would go out as like once I left school, I'd go to the library and just sit on a computer and just watch music videos from Eminem to Nas to Ludacris to Rick Ross, like Jay-Z, Kanye.
Yeah.
Those were like that's what I was like just listening to and just watching the videos. And the ones that moved me the most were the ones that were like emotional stories. And so I didn't realize that I just didn't realize I was in a shelter home when I was that young either, until people started making fun of me for living there. You know what I mean? So I'm living in the shelter home, and I'm just like, all right.
Is a shelter home like a bunch of families in a room, or?
It's a bunch of families, and each family had their own apartment.
Okay.
Basically in this building.
Okay.
Right, and they had like meals at certain times, and like they had like donations and stuff like that. And the energy was just kind of heavy there. I just didn't realize what it was. I'm just a kid, like, you know what I mean?
You don't realize poverty when you're growing up.
Right, so I'm just going to the boys club, playing basketball. Oh, Lil Wayne also was huge.
Oh yeah. So you like all the same shit that I like, and I'm 41.
Yeah.
But you were just introduced to it at a different time.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was trying to get at with you right there. How he like his introduction to hip hop is like Kanye West and stuff, which is like crazy from our perspective because like Kanye West comes so far. Like Kanye West like changed hip hop, like maybe not even in the best way. You know what I'm saying? Like hip hop was kind of a like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
but I still think of it. It was my teen years.
Kanye's
so
one of the
still,
first
like,
people
young.
that made like it okay to be like. Hip hop was very hard.
Yeah, exactly.
And Kanye was one of the first people that allowed hip hop to be like a nerd could do it.
Right.
Now.
Backpack rap.
He was like,
but no, because backpack rap was like underground, like that kind of shit.
He was
like,
the first mainstream, like wearing a backpack, graduation, whatever.
But he
was more known for like the polo shirt. I wouldn't say like nerd backpack. It was more like like he said, softer stuff, church influences,
even like emotional rapping and shit, like talking about your feelings and shit like that. Like that's not something like fucking people did. You know what I mean? Like,
we need to get back to because people are too emotional now.
You're at what age is this where you're like okay, I can make these fucking songs. You're writing songs for your sister. You say you're 9 or 10 years old. You're in the shelter home.
At 12, I decided I was going to be a rapper. Like,
okay, at 12.
Yeah, at 12. So I was in the shelter home, and I just was like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. Like, I just started writing raps because I was just watching it.
Are you like 12 years old running in the shelter? I'm like, move, bitch, get out the way.
Nah. I was rapping. Lil Wayne was like the #1 influence at the time when I was 12. Matter of fact, my first rap name was Wizzy.
Okay.
After Weezy, because my first name is Wilson, so I just wanted to have a name that started with a W. So Wizzy after Weezy was my first rap name.
Well, what's the best Lil Wayne album?
Carter 2.
Okay. Because
he's that fast.
Weirdly, my introduction, or the first time I even had Lil Wayne on my radar was Carter 4.
Oh wow! Nah, bro, you missed a lot. You missed all the mixtapes.
I know. I need to go back.
Whoa, bro.
And then it was around.
What
that
about
time.
Hot Boys? Or did you know Lil Wayne then?
Yeah, but I wasn't paying much attention.
Nah, the mixtapes.
And then it was when I heard him and Joel Santana drop the "I Can't Feel My Face" mixtape.
Yep.
That I would play nonstop at undergroundhiphop.com.
See, and it was like, from like a hit.
He knows earlier than me.
Well, the thing is, like,
I'm the young one.
Like, the fucked up thing is, and it's gonna sound fucked up, like in today's hip hop, is that like when Lil Wayne came out, he was part of like Hot Boys and shit. And if you were part of like that New York East Coast hip hop, like purist lyrical, pure shit,
exactly.
you hated all of that shit, and I hated all of it. I hated Lil Wayne, and I still, I'm like, I come around to him begrudgingly now because I'm like, all right, he can fucking do it. But
when
like
later I started listening to
it was the Carter mixtapes,
like,
but I'm like, all right, like he can fucking
amazing.
rap a little bit, like, but like that early shit, nobody fucked with that, like, because it was that whole like down south, not down south because Outkast was killing it, Goody Mob was killing it,
I love
Ghetto
Outkast
Boys
too.
was killing it, like there's people in down south that were killing it, but like that particular like.
Why on the Carter 4 does it not say featuring Tech 9, but it's featuring? It shows all the others.
I thought it was on there.
No, it's not.
Oh.
You'd have to ask him. I mean,
yeah.
I don't think he has that answer.
I don't know. He might.
He was just a kid listening to it, man.
Carter 2,
never
bro.
know.
Carter 2 goes
Carter
crazy.
2. I gotta check it out.
Carter 2 is insane. He goes on the same beat 3 times.
Okay. Do you
3
know
different tracks.
Why do you think that's insane?
I just think it's fire. I mean, I know Hove did it too, but
Old Dirty Bastard did it on 36 Chambers, and it was terrible. Like,
well, Weezy did it fire.
Old Dirty Bastard has 3 different verses on 3 different beats. And the same verse on 3 different beats on Return to 36 Chambers.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I missed that. That sounds awful.
Everybody misses it. It's one of those things. And like also Nas did Hip Hop Is Dead. When Nas did Hip Hop Is Dead, he used the same beat as what the fuck was the other song he used it from? I forget the fucking name. But it was a single. It was a single from the song before that. He used the same beat because Hip Hop Is Dead. And like everyone missed that too.
Okay.
Like fucking.
I didn't miss.
I think
that
he
on
says it in the song though.
It does, and people still like you realizing that right now?
No, I'm just realizing.
I'm looking at his face. He's going. So Nas used to say this twice in a row. Yeah.
But I never paid attention to that.
Yeah.
Hold on,
Yeah.
give me 1
So-
second while I fix this. 'Cause I gotta look at it.
So pause it.
Pause it.
Pause it. Yeah, pause it.
All right. Well, the stream's gonna keep going. I'll pause the recording.
That's fine. That's fine because what happened is because for so long this was running trying to figure it out, and instead of having to keep going back and forth with it, we just do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that, this is for the stream.
Just
so good.
switch modes for some reason.
No, you want me to
No, I got it. It's good. It
It's
didn't
back
even
on.
overheat. I don't know why it did.
Oh, then never mind. Then I thought you had to get rid of it.
No,
Is
Never
the
mind.
main
All
video
right,
still
yeah.
going?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're
the
good.
stream is still going. Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
The
new
thing that
video.
we're going to be putting on YouTube is still going.
Yeah, it's fine.
Well, he's gonna clip that together, but yeah.
Do you
All
know?
Wait,
what's-
wait.
Good.
Okay. Do you know how great a rapper Joe Budden is?
No.
No, I'm just saying. It was just thinking.
His answer was amazing. Because what are you asking?
No,
What are you
because,
asking?
okay. I just heard.
No,
the
defend
Carter,
yourself
the
right
Carter
now.
2,
Like,
I just
what are you
heard is an
asking?
amazing album.
Yeah.
That got me thinking Mood Music 2
Music's
is
a
an
good-
amazing album. And that got me thinking he said he
No.
loves this emotional hip hop.
Mood Music
and
3.
nothing is more emotional
All
than
right,
Joe
so-
Budden
so- okay.
albums.
No, I don't
Mood
know.
Music 2 and
He
3.
did. All right.
I'm
I-
not-
You might only know him as a blogger.
No,
but
I
I'm
know. I
saying
knew he was a
has two
rapper.
of
I
the
knew he was
greatest
a
rap
rapper. I
albums
mean,
of all
I know
time.
Pump It Up.
So he made.
No, but Pump It Up.
See,
Yeah, but
you just fucked it
that's
up.
disrespectful.
You just fucked it up.
Right.
You just fucked it
No,
up.
but that's why I'm saying. That's why I needed to
disrespect.
enter the conversation. Joe Budden now. Mood Music
I was
2 and 3.
I was gonna defend him. No, because I called him out.
Amazing
I was gonna
album.
defend him. No, so it's music 3, not 2. 3. 3's the good one.
No, but I heard that Mood Music 2 is amazing.
Three's the good one.
Yeah.
Three's
Mood
the good
Music
one.
3 is the
Go
one I
listen to
love
Mood-
on Amalgam Digital.
Go listen to that shit. Mood
Okay.
Music 3.
I will.
And he's not lying
No,
to
I
you.
will. I know.
If you took Joe Budden's like maybe top like 10, 12, 15 songs and put them on one album, it would be like one of the best albums.
Okay.
Like he really does have like these fucking bangers.
Okay, because
like, in
when I
between.
say that, people say, "Oh,
You're
Mood
crazy.
Music 2 also."
No, I know
Okay.
a lot of guys who have always been like, "Yo, Joe Budden's fire," but they're usually a little
He's
bit older than me.
insane.
Emotional hip hop though is what he's trying to say. If you're
Yeah.
into emotional
Gotcha,
hip hop,
gotcha.
I'm not even all emo.
Do you guys know
but like,
the Padded Room album?
Of course, yeah.
That
but
one
that's
is fire.
not Mood Music
It's more
3.
music.
But it is.
But anyways.
fire. That's the one that has a Prodigy, a Mobb Deep diss
so
on it.
you
Blood on the
decide
Wall.
you're gonna be a rapper.
Yeah.
Do you make beats too?
No.
Okay, so you just rap. When are you writing your first rap? Your first rap, not your sister's
I
first
was,
rap.
I was in middle school.
And
I
do
was.
you remember the lyrics? Can you rap?
I don't remember. I don't remember it. No, I don't remember it. I remember I was at like my mom.
he remembers.
My
Look at
mom
that.
brought us all to a party because she was, she's an adult. She's trying to have fun too at the same
Yeah.
time. Like, so we were at a party and like the kids had to stay in like another room or whatever. So I had her Motorola Razr phone, right?
Oh, nice.
And so I had like a melody in my head and I was just like kept singing it recording it on the voice notes or whatever it was at the time. And I just remember that was like my first time really trying to create a song.
Yeah.
And then I would just write songs in the back of class, and then I would rap them at recess, and everybody would be like, "Yo, that's crazy" or whatever. Like I'd have literally circles of people like listening to me rap, and some other kids would want to rap too sometimes. And it just became a thing that like I was a rapper.
The first time you went to like middle school and did it out in front of people, you
Yeah.
nervous?
The first time I did it, I stole a Jay-Z verse and said it was mine. And
Here we go. Here we go.
And
What
then,
verse was
nah,
it?
but listen,
only
it
got
was
verse.
all right. So it was it's from his second album, but it was on a remix. It was like what's the deal, Playboy? Just rest your soul.
Yeah,
You've been holding it down.
we're
Yeah.
familiar with Jay-Z.
So that song, but nobody knew that at the in
Yeah.
recess.
Yeah, but it was funny. It's like no one that's like 10 years old knows that. But
Yeah.
meanwhile, like The City Is Mine is played like on every single fucking like.
No, but see, I
It
didn't
was a
even know.
huge
I didn't
song.
even know that was a song because it was on a remix that I had on. It was like a song with on a different beat, "Cold as Ice." It was called.
Yeah.
And it was that verse
The
with
MOP.
Cassidy.
The MOP shit. Yeah.
So, but it had Cassidy and Hove, and that was it.
So
And
it's
so
like
it was like a
mixtape
remix.
shit.
It was like a
Yeah.
mixtape.
It was a
version.
blend. It was a
Yeah.
blend.
And so
So,
that
yeah.
verse was just so fire. I was like, bro, I gotta.
Yeah,
spit this.
that's on that. So meanwhile, he's stealing the opening verse. That's the first song on the album too, by the. So he's stealing the opening verse
Bro.
off the biggest album at that time.
Nobody
Thinking
knew.
no one's heard that shit before.
Nah, it was,
And it worked.
It was,
It worked.
it was 2007. Nobody knew.
But
Yeah,
like,
it
cause see, but us, I'm like, like your father
right,
had it,
right.
like, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
like we ran to Sam Goody, got it, like, oh shit.
Nah, that was crazy that I did that, but that gave me the
funny.
confidence to start doing my own.
It's also just funny you took like the first verse of the biggest
Yeah,
album
yeah,
of the
yeah.
year. You know what I mean? Like that's how the album starts.
That's
how
crazy. I
blatant.
didn't know. I didn't know.
Do you know now? You know
I know now. Yeah, of course I know now, but
Yeah,
like
you know.
at the time.
So that gave you the confidence. Spitting some whole verses gave you the
Yeah.
confidence. Okay.
And then I was like, all right, people like this. So like then I started doing my own, and then I started getting more confidence through that.
well, I have to ask. Did you steal anything after the whole verse?
No.
Oh, so you went?
No, there was one more. There was one more. It was like a Trey Songz. It was like a Trey Songz remix to a Kanye West song or something. But he just snapped. He was like rapping at the time. It was like 808s and Heartbreaks that came out or something like that, and he was doing remixes to stuff like that. Those two, and that was it. Never
to me too.
else.
It's so crazy that someone like
Right.
is learning about hip hop to 808 and Heartbreak stage of hip hop.
Right. We are officially
It's not even that. It's just that hip hop is like was such a different animal. So like becoming an artist, like growing with that, like at that age, like when you're absorbing everything and like learning stuff, and like that's still the rebellious music.
Yeah.
Even though it's a different rebellious music, you know what I'm saying? So you're still getting it out of it.
Hold on. The song was "Say You Will," Trey Songz remix. That's the one. That's the one I was doing.
Took him a minute to remember that. Took him a minute to remember that shit. But that's interesting that like that must mold like who you are as an artist is
Definitely.
like what you're coming in off of.
Yeah.
So 808 and Heartbreak, that's like it's a huge album. Like it was impactful in my life, but I was like 30 years old having a fucking kid and shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's a whole different ballgame. Yeah. So it's like that's just interesting to me to hear an artist grow from that particular phase of music.
Yeah, the number one like impactful album to me was Graduation. So
Okay.
like Graduation was like for me everything like though because it had I remember when I heard Stronger for the first time, like I wasn't even in the
Okay.
shelter home yet. I was like right about to move into it, and I heard Stronger for the first time, and I just never heard nothing like it. And it was just like it was like so like pop, but at the same time it was like so hip hop at the same time, and to me, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like,
But that's a Daft Punk sample.
I know, and that's why I was like, that was one of the songs that moved me. But then it was like Can't Tell Me Nothing. Then it was like just
No, I get that, and like I don't want to keep bringing the old, but I think it's a super interesting because we bring Hush in the show. I don't know if Brandon told you this because like we're older, so our hip hop shit is older. Like Hush is on the show to keep us a little bit young and to like hip us to all this stuff. It's for me to have someone that like listens to this kind of shit and like to hear like someone go, I'd never heard nothing that sounded like Stronger, like but he's only 10. So like you haven't heard that much shit yet, you know what I'm saying? It's like one thing, but I also was like, oh, I haven't really heard any hip hop shit like this yet.
Right.
When I'm like driving my lawyer's car at the time through Manhattan, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm already doing the tour shit. I was already on the radio.
Lawyer's car?
Yeah, I was already on the radio. I had already like done the radio with you.
Why were you driving your lawyer's
Because
car?
I was in Manhattan, like living with the lawyer, trying to get signed and shit. The whole nine. It was
I
crazy.
mean, to be fair, like Kanye was sampling shit that like no one was sampling.
But Daft Punk is a huge pop hit from the 80s.
Yeah.
Huge. So like everybody had heard something that sounded exactly like that before, which is just another like it's just interesting to me to see the different perspective of hip hop, how old hip hop is now.
When you think of like Big Pun, do you think of it the same way you think of like the Beatles and Led Zeppelin? No.
I you know what's funny? I actually started getting hip
I love the answer.
hip to Big Pun more recently. Like
Okay.
around Term's whole team, they love Big Pun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Crazy,
he's got
like-
Big Pun
Well, if you're a
tattooed on his arm.
lyricist, like Pun is also like he was someone that like is probably like unofficial top 5 lyricist of all time.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
But Tupac,
no one puts him
I'm
there.
not saying it wasn't supposed to become a pun discussion. I'm just talking about that era.
Capital
Like-
Punishment is a fire album, but the first time I heard it was probably 6 months ago.
Okay.
And what he means is like, what he means
Right,
is,
were your parents playing?
So like when I was like 20, right, I'd be working construction with my uncles and shit, and they'd be listening to like the Rolling Stones and
Yeah,
Led Zeppelin and shit.
exactly.
And it was older people music from the 70s,
Right, right.
and I was in the 90s, which is 20 years.
Yeah.
You in the 2010s is 20 years from the 90s. So he's like, did you look at that music like it was old time music?
No, because first of all, like my hip hop research was done by
Because you grew up with your pops.
my mom and dad are Dominican, so Spanish music played in the house. That was
Okay.
what I know, like classic Spanish music. Sometimes some pop hits, like Magic 106.7, what my mom would like to listen to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a big influence, but you laugh at it. That's a big influence on a lot of the producers that make the music you're talking about.
Right,
That's
so-
why I'm like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, those come from a lot. If you listen to Magic 106.7 now, it's all the songs from when I was in high school, and those are all the same songs that are sampled from like the songs that were sampled from the songs that were my father's era.
Definitely.
Those are the same songs.
Yeah, there was some Motown maybe in there, but
You know what I mean? And the same samples, like the hits from the 70s, what was sampled in the 90s. The hits, they don't sample the 70s songs. They sample the 90s songs that were sampled from the songs in the 70s.
Exactly.
So it's like it's kind of bugged out.
Yeah, it is.
It's like a whole
Ultimate
fucking
reality.
meta as fuck. You know what I'm saying? And then to have someone act, you're the first person. I don't mean to be so like this, but you're the first person that's been sitting there that's taking music super seriously that's young enough to like hip hop with me was so. I feel like I'm super hip hop. And like I grew up with hip hop. Hip hop's 50 years old. I'm 40. I'm about to turn 44. So I've been around like the whole fucking thing. Yeah. So to have someone come in that's like started in the middle of it, but still be hip hop, it's just like an interesting perspective on a long term format. I can ask you anything I want, you know, in a different way. I've met you a mad times. We don't talk like this. Yeah. But for a hip hop standpoint, it's interesting to me. Like, like I started out with Kanye West, 808 and Heartbreak and Graduation. It's like that was when like DMX was already like, nah, we don't do that. Right. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, it was already in that era, and it's like, wow, okay, like, so it's just a whole different thing. So to get in your music, I just wanted to kind of establish where you came from and everything. That's kind of some dope shit. So do you speak Spanish? Yeah. Okay, but you don't rap in Spanish?
I have some words in Spanish. I haven't rapped in Spanish yet.
Why not?
I do want to at some point. I just want to make it on the right song. I don't think in Spanish, so like when I write, when I write, like, it's more naturally inclined to just be in English, like, so.
Can you bring my headphones up?
Like, I love hip hop.
Okay.
More so than I love Spanish music all the way right now, I would say.
But it's like also crazy from like, so no one, if you rapped in Spanish back in the day, like you were a gimmicky Spanish rapper. Right. But now people rap in Spanish all the fucking time. No, I mean, like white people rap in Spanish and shit.
No, I love, and I want to just correct what I said. I love Spanish music a lot. Like, I mean, bachata was one of the biggest genres in my household. Reggaeton was a huge, crazy, in like when I was a teenager, like preteen, that was like the biggest genre, like going crazy. So like I do love reggaeton. I do love the Spanish music I grew up on, salsa.
Is Bad Bunny Spanish?
Bad Bunny is reggaeton, yeah. So he's Puerto Rican, and reggaeton is the genre he does. But then there's also dembow, which is now the more popular genre, or one of the more popular genres, and that's a Dominican originated genre as well.
Okay. And your music, from what a lot of stuff I heard, was mostly boom bap stuff, and like not straight boom bap, but West like Coast. It wasn't, but it's not like, it doesn't sound like Spanish music influenced. Yeah. Like, I think I'm gonna I want to start going into that because I want to share like that part of myself as well. Do you have any songs that kind of hit that?
No, not yet.
Okay, because I was just making sure. I'm like, I listen to all your stuff, and I'm like, I don't recall any like. Because you know, like the Spanish and Hispanic influence and like the island influence you can put like on me, and like you don't really have any of that kind of.
For me, you know, like when I was rapping, and when I was especially starting out to rap, I was just so focused on proving that I could rap well. Yeah. That I didn't really want to do anything that didn't showcase that. Okay. You know what I mean? Like that was kind of my thing. Is like I want to make sure everybody knows I can rap well. I want to establish myself as a rapper, and then, you know, I feel like now I'm in a place where I can branch out a little bit more. Yeah. And now I'm open to that more. But at first I was just like, so like Blank Slate was so on for me, just like trying to prove that I can rap. Like I had no resources. I had nothing. I was just trying to just prove that I can rap just for the sake of that.
What's the first song that you wrote that you were like, all right, I can rap?
It was a song on my first tape that I dropped called Ghetto Dreams. And I was 18 when I wrote it. Not that I didn't think I could rap before that. It's just that when I made that song, I was like, oh, I can make a song that people can listen to, and I know that this is like a good song.
Is Suriel your government name?
It's my last name.
Oh, it's your last name? Yeah. Okay. What's your first name?
Wilson.
We went over that. Yep. Wizzy. Yep. Nice to meet you. Wheezy.
Yep. Welcome to the interview.
Who do you think is the best rapper alive?
Nas.
Really?
Yeah. Who'd you think he was gonna say?
I mean, I guess that makes sense, but it's still Nas. He seems like he's stealing from my generation here. I thought he was gonna say someone younger.
Nah, Nas.
So you write your first, that song, was that
Ghetto
on
Dreams?
That was on your first project?
I had a project before I dropped Blank Slate as Suriel called Rise, and my name was Wilson.
Okay.
At the time,
you named it. You called it. Was it Wizzy or Wilson?
It was Wilson. Wizzy only lasted like 1 year. That was it.
You're lucky because that
was terrible. No, I know, but it was my first rap name. I mean, everybody's got a bad first rap name, man.
Because like Wizzy,
you already know where it's going. I didn't even think of that, man. I was just like,
I didn't even say anything. He's like, I didn't even think of that.
It's just Weezy. Thinking of it now, Weezy was my favorite rapper, so I wanted a name like him.
And like teenage boys, like Wizzy, like wait a minute, that's fucking.
I don't know, man. I don't know, bro.
Like come on, man. Like if you battle rapper, that's like a really easy.
It's like Future's first name was Meathead.
Yeah.
Shrimp Daddy by like Lil Wayne.
And there's Titty Boy. Titty Boy became 2 Chainz.
Wait, his first rap name was Meathead?
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
another crazy thing is this. So you make the song, you make the project.
Yep.
Right? So you put how many songs together as a project?
So my first project was a demo tape. I didn't even put it out. It was just like a demo tape that I wanted to show and see if I could get some kind of something going.
And do you send these to labels or not?
I was thinking of. I mean, I tried to send it to labels and stuff like that. I was 18, just trying.
You're a kid. You're still like a kid at the time.
Yeah,
you're not in school anymore, right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to like figure out what I can do with the demo tape.
Yeah.
But I was 22 or 21 when I made Rise, and Rise was I just took Ghetto Dreams because it was still a good song, and it was my first music video and all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the one song that you're most proud of?
Most proud of right now, I'd probably say "Runaway," the last one that just came out.
Before we get to the last one you just came out with, I'm still just trying to like learn your journey here.
Yeah.
So you're 18 now.
Yeah.
Are you on your own at this point in time?
Yeah. I was I was like pretty much I was living with a friend of mine, and he was like a really big believer in what I did.
Okay.
And I moved in with his family, and we were just.
This is 10 years ago, and that's when you
Yeah.
put out the first project.
No, it was called The Basement, and it was just a demo tape that I have never released.
Okay. And when you say never, like, was it online or anything like
No,
that?
it's never
So
been
what's the
released.
first thing that you put out that you show people?
The first thing I put out that I showed people was I was 16 and I made a song.
I mean, like, that they can now, like, you're putting, like, this is what I do.
That was Wilson Rise, 2017.
I mean, like, so, like, that's where you can buy that.
That's on SoundCloud still.
Okay, all right. So that's the first time you ever like. So you were younger than at this point in time when you started putting it out. Like,
I was 21. Yeah.
Let me get. So when you were living with your friend, you said you're 18.
I'm 18. There was a gap where I stopped.
You make Ghetto Dreams.
Yes.
Okay, at 18.
Yep.
And you put that on a project. That project you do not put out, so people cannot buy that.
There was a 5-song base that was called The Basement. It was a 5-song project. It was my demo tape.
And you just showed it to people. You didn't upload it anywhere.
No.
What's the first thing that you uploaded that people you could be like, I'm Suriel, I make music. You can go here and buy it.
To buy it
or whatever.
It was SoundCloud. It was Rise EP by Wilson. It had Ghetto Dreams on it as like the lead single. Okay. And I was 21, so it was a couple years after.
So what happened in between those years?
So I was my thing was like I always wanted to rap, but I always wanted to have money when I was rapping. I didn't want to be broke.
There you go. That's what Van said. You rap about wanting to have money a lot.
I didn't want to be broke, so me and my friend we started doing foreign exchange trading, and we were doing that.
Oh shit!
Like Forex.
Yeah, Forex. And there was a time where we quit our jobs to just do Forex, and we were making money, and it was cool. But then we also lost all of our money it's just as fast as we got it. So I took a long time to really study that because it was like, it just seemed like a way to get rich quick type thing.
No, I know other people have done
there was a moment where we made 100K, bro, and we were 20 years old. So we made 100K in a couple days. I swear to God, this is real life. 100K.
Only you cashed
We
out.
took 5K out, and we're like, yeah, we're about to make a mill. 5K out, lost 90K immediately, like the next 2 days. And it was like the most gut-wrenching, heartbreaking thing. Like I had already quit my job once we hit the 100K. Like I didn't give no notice. I was just like, bro, whatever. I was doing maintenance or whatever at the time. I quit the job. I was like, bro, like I got 5K. Like I'm good right now. And I got 100K in the bank, like ready. So I quit my job and I'm like, yeah, this is it. Now we can start rapping. All that just went down. And then.
What's crazy is you get 100K and you're, okay, so you're really in on this shit because you get 100K. You're like, you know what? Fuck this. I can stop doing everything else and now I can rap. Like you already like did the thing to get the money. Like now take the money, invest the money, flip the fucking money.
Well,
like
we thought 100K.
It was invested.
But we thought 100K wasn't because it came so easy. Because it came so easy, it didn't seem like what it was.
But what I'm saying is you were so into the dream of rapping.
Yeah.
And you didn't give it, like, not like I'm gonna like take this money and go do some other shit with it. Your shit was like, nope, I'm gonna stop life and now I'm gonna become a fucking rapper.
Right.
Like that's like I hit the lottery. Like what am I gonna do? Become a fucking rapper. Like you know what I mean? That's crazy. Like you just won $10 million. What are you gonna do?
But
I'm gonna go on fucking tour.
So
like,
did you both sit there and watch this 90 grand disappear?
Yeah, 100%. We were watching it every moment of the day, bro. Like so stressed. Like the most stress you could ever possibly think, bro. Like literally, like bro, we couldn't sleep for 2 days. Like we couldn't eat. We were just watching the screens, trying to like limit it as much as possible. Like trying to take it out.
I have been there,
bro. It was the worst. It was so bad.
I have been there.
And the way we made the money was so like was not off of no skill. It was off of luck completely.
Right.
And so, because we just bet like as much as we had, and we just put it all the way up, and it just happened to hit that one time.
Yeah.
But we did the same thing the next day, and it happened to go the opposite way.
See,
we had no idea.
See,
really.
I did that with money that I had earned. and yo, I was so depressed, I topped out of life for like 9 months.
He's like, I just took all of it.
That's crazy.
One of my buddies' dads said it's stock. It's a fucking gambling for rich people.
In Forex, that's what you lost.
No,
money?
not in Forex, but in stocks.
Regular stocks.
Yeah, but just putting it all in like 2 stocks,
man.
Volatile stocks.
Jeez.
I'm out of the game. Yeah, I know. Well, because
I can see that's triggering.
That's one of the worst things you can go through is losing everything.
Right now, yeah.
It is triggering. It is triggering. Goddamn it.
Yeah, man.
So you lose all your money.
Yep.
What? So do you go back and get your job?
No, I went and moved back home.
Because you have 5K.
I had no more money.
That didn't last very long. 5K.
No way, bro. And
yeah.
plus, I thought I was like, it's not like I was like saving that 5K. It's like, yeah, I got 5K. I'm about to do stuff with this because I got $1,000 in the bank. So that lasted me maybe a week or 2.
Yeah.
You know, so good. So you moved back home, and what happened?
I had to move back home, and I'm living with my mom, and she didn't have really space for me. So I'm like, damn, like. I had everything, and I was still trying to do Forex. I'm like, you know what? I know it's possible. I'm gonna just figure it out. So I would be like waking up because there's like a European session where you can like catch the open, right?
Yep.
It was like 4 a.m. type thing. So I'm like, yo, like I'm up at 4 a.m. every day, trying to make some more money.
I know the story.
Trying to make some more money, and I was just not making any money, bro. It would be like $100 here, because then I got scared. Then I was like emotionally like not about to put all my money into it again. Mm-hmm. So I was like a host at a restaurant, and I was doing that, and I was just holding on to the dream. But also my mom didn't have space for me, so it was just uncomfortable because she had already moved to a different place. So then I'm like, all right, I have to find a new place to live. And luckily my dad had a basement. I was able to move in with him for a little bit, and this was back to Lynn, so I'm in Lynn again, and I'm like 20 now or something like that. And I started seeing this girl, and she would just see me waking up and trading at 4 a.m. and she's like, yo, you're crazy. Like, is this what you want to do with your life? And I was like, not really. I want to be a rapper, but like, I want to make some money first, because I know I made 100K before. If I do this, and I can change my life real quick or whatever. Well, she's like, if you don't want to do this, why don't you just rap? And then it kind of hit me. I was like, damn, like, you're right. So then I was just so then I just was like, all right, that's when I started working on that project, Rise.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's funny. I never told this story really like this, so that's funny.
And that's why you're on podcast.
Yeah.
That's why we get it out in long form. You know what I'm saying? That's why we keep bringing it back. So why you name it Rise?
Because I felt like that was the beginning, and it's like I'm only going up from here.
Okay, and that's from that point. What year is this?
2017.
2017.
Yeah.
So that's about 7 years ago?
Yeah.
8 years ago?
Yep.
All right. So from 8 years, what's the next step?
Right now?
No.
What happened?
Then
you put out Rise.
Oh yeah. So Rise, right? So Rise was the first project. Then it was I was doing open mics everywhere.
Okay.
Opus.
So what I want to get, so I want to get something like that.
Yeah.
So your work ethic.
Yeah.
So at some point in time, I know. Did you work yourself into a coma?
That was years later.
Okay, so because I'm getting, when you say you're
not a coma.
Yeah, hold on.
Not a coma.
Yeah, something. You did something to yourself. You heard
right. I could get to that, but that was years later.
But because you got the work ethic of someone that's waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning chasing.
Right.
That's why I'm already like, all right, I already see where this is going.
Yeah, my work ethic was crazy, man. Like I would work, go take a nap, be up at 3.
Well, I'm saying before you even get to that, so let's get there then. So
all right, so then I'm doing all the open mics and whatever. I'm building a name real quick, like small, low key. But I got a chance. Shout out to Headshots, Slant from Headshots. I don't know if you guys are familiar. Yeah. He saw me do an open mic one time, and he was like, bro, you're really talented. Like, I want you to open up for me at the Middle East. So I did a show at the Middle East, and I happened to just sell mad tickets. I treated it like it was my show, so I went. Not my show, but like this is my first time.
Yeah.
This is my first time.
It was your show.
It was, but I knew I wasn't headlining, but I treated it like it was. You know what I mean? And I just had everybody. I was marketing it, going crazy, like treating it as many people as I could bring. And then I ended up having like such a large crowd that Slant was like, yo, bro, you have like the people are here to see you. He's like, why don't you actually perform after us at his show? So I was like, dang, man, like that's crazy. So I got a chance to do that.
Nice.
And it was a good show. PSA was hosting it, and he was saying all kinds of crazy stuff. Like, he's like, Lynn, I mean, he's like Cambridge or Boston, whatever he said. He was like, this is the next J. Cole or whatever in the city. And he was just saying crazy things. And I'm just like eating it up. I'm like, I'm hyped. Like, my people are just like watching it. And I'm just like, yeah, bro, like, this is crazy. This is like the biggest night of my life.
Yeah.
At that point.
Upstairs, downstairs? Upstairs.
And, you know, from there, I started getting a little bit more show opportunities and stuff like that. And then we did Blank Slate. Mm-hmm. I had to change my name during the Blank Slate process because my music got taken down off of Spotify and Apple because there's another band or something called Wilson, and for some reason they took my music down. So I was like, all right, let me come up with a different name. I came up with Suriel.
It's like your name, though.
Well, it is my name. I didn't know what to do it at the time. I'm just throwing things out there.
It's fucked up. Like, you can't make music under your name.
Right. But no, but then we were just throwing things out there, and I just kept like I was gonna do my full name, Wilson Suriel, but then I was like, I don't know, that's just like too long. So then I just went with Suriel, and Suriel, which I looked it up in the Old Testament, means God's prince. That's when I was like, oh, that's cool. I never knew that. So I looked it up.
Yeah, that's dope.
And that's fire. I was like, that's fire. Let me go with that. So we started going with that. We did Blank Slate. Well, actually, right before that, I did a show with Justin Clancy. That was like the biggest like thing that helped me out, like huge. Well, shout out to Justin. Me and him are friends for a long time. But
we'll have up there.
He had The Color Blue coming out at the time, and I had just met him, and he had been seeing me around doing shows and open mics, and he was like, "Yo, you're really talented. Like, come do a show with me." So we did the show at the Middle East Sonia, I believe, and it was me, Tim Nyan, and Justin Clancy. And that show really opened up like a lot of opportunities for me. That's actually how I met Bedlam.
Okay.
So that show was just like the first show where it was like a huge crowd, and I was like, you know, to me it was huge. Like it was like probably 200 people or whatever it was, and it was just like, bro, I just felt like that was crazy. I did some songs from Blank Slate that had the album hadn't come out yet, and I just had so many different connections from that point. Then Blank Slate come out, and I had a bunch of just way more support in the city. I think WBUR had ranked it as one of the top albums of the year for that year from Massachusetts, and I was just like, all right, like I'm off this success, like I'm about to just go crazy now. So then that's when I started working on my next project, and I was working full time, and I would just go home and work 8 hours in the studio every night. And to do that, I mean, I was sleeping like 4 or 5 hours a night, 3 hours a night sometimes, drinking coffee. I'd have to work at 9. I'd be up till 6.
What were you doing for work?
Selling Audis.
Okay.
And so I would just be up, sleeping 3 hours, going to work, doing the same thing again, just off of coffee. Literally off of coffee.
How old are you this time?
I'm 23, maybe 22, right? And I'm just going crazy every day. I just did that every day.
See, and I would do that, but I'm 41. My body's old.
But I was just going hard, so hard. Like I was just like,
crazy.
I'm like pushing myself. I'm like, I'm about to just, if that album was successful, I'm about to have an even more successful album. Like I'm about to go harder or whatever. So I was doing that, and I was making great music, but I had finally set up the first show for Blank Slate. This is like, I think the album came out October. The headline show was April. So in that span, I was just going crazy. And then in April, I had my first headlining show scheduled. I had my first music video going on BET. We were just finalizing that, and it was just like I was just on a high, like just going crazy. I had met with John Glass one day. And this would be the first time I was like working with a producer now at this point, because I was just still doing YouTube beats. So I was like, yo, John, I think we should make a project, you know, because he'd been in the area. We've been kind of running into each other. So we started talking about doing a project. But that night that I left the studio, this is a week before my headlining show, right? A week before, a couple days before my video premiered on BET, which we had to finish up, right? That night I left the studio from John Glass, I had a seizure. On like I was like woke up out of bed. I didn't feel good. I had a seizure and I was at my girlfriend's house at the time. She called the ambulance. I went to the hospital. I was in the hospital for 2 days. They ran all kinds of tests, like every possible test to figure out if I had epilepsy or something was wrong with my heart or my brain or whatever. And so they just determined that it was none of, like, I'm fine. But I told them what led to it. I was like, yeah, I've been sleeping like 3 hours a night for 6 months type 4 hours, you know what I mean? Every once in a while I catch up on it, but that was so consistent that she was like, yeah. She was like, you shouldn't have that much caffeine in a day, first of all. and you shouldn't go long periods of time without sleeping more than 8 hours or whatever, 6 hours consistently. And so it was a week before my show. They were telling me not to do the show. I didn't want to let the people that were buying into, I was still feeling like I had to prove a lot and I had to follow up the success. And I was like, now I have a show, I'm selling tickets, and I don't want to let the people down. So they told me not to do the show. They told me to just chill, whatever. But I decided that I was going to do the show anyways. So I would wake up every morning, run, make sure I could like breathe right, make sure I could perform the songs. And then I would lay down for the rest of the day. Like I'd literally run, lay down,
just total preparation
track
for the show.
track, do the track list, the set list, and then go back to like just laying down the whole day. So I did that for a whole week. Mind you, for the first
That's a lot of dedication.
Yeah, the first couple days. So as soon as I left the hospital, they put a heart monitor on me.
Yeah, and like, are you having at this time when you're like preparing for the show and taking that all seriously? Like, are you like, it's probably your first real health scare and everything in your life. Are you like now like your mortality is like, you know what I mean? Like,
they told me I was good, so I was like, at that moment I wasn't thinking about anything besides getting the show done. So I had a heart monitor on when I left the hospital.
Okay.
And as soon as the next day I got out of the hospital, my video played on BET. I didn't even have BET at the crib. So I had to go back to my dad's crib to watch the video because I knew it was premiering at a certain time. So I'm watching my song Pusha T video and then my video, and I have a heart monitor on, and I have a show next week. And I'm just like, bro, like I have to go.
That should be its own music video.
Right. I did make a video, but I'll explain that in a second. But so I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So I literally called John. I'm like, yo, John, I need to see you right now. Like, we need to make an album right now. And he's like, yo, just come to the studio. I'm free. So I pulled up and I showed him. I was like, bro, I was like, yo, I just left the hospital. I had a seizure. I have a heart monitor on right now. I literally showed him the heart monitor, and he was like, oh, shit. He was like, you're trying to make an album right now? And I'm like, yeah, bro, I need to make it right now. He's like, as soon as I'm done with the show, I'm coming back and we're making an album. And he was like, yeah.
It's like this whole fucking train coming by. I was gonna shut the window, but I didn't want to like get in front of you.
Yeah. So
trains never get sidetracked.
So then
don't listen to him, man.
So then, like I said, I was doing those things to get ready for the show. I was supposed to have the heart monitor on for like a month, but I was like, I'm doing the show and like my heart's fine, like everything else is fine. So I ripped the heart monitor off,
bro.
I go do the show. The show was crazy. I mean, for me, I almost like had almost sold it out. Like
almost had a seizure.
You know what I'm saying? And you know what's so crazy? The craziest part is like outside, I was getting ready to go on stage, and I had a photographer who we had been working for a long time. His name was Hal, and he was telling me, he's like, bro, you just had a seizure? I was like, yeah, man. And he's talking to me like, I'm going on stage in 2 minutes. He's like, yo, man, I really think I've been having something like that too, or something. I don't know what's going on. And I'm like, yo, bro, like, please don't talk to me about this right now because I'm about to have one. Just thinking about it going on stage right now. You know what I mean?
It's not the pep talk.
Yeah. So fast forward, me and John make the project later.
So the show goes on before you fast forward, like, yeah. So
the show was awesome, bro. The show was crazy.
And then you don't have a seizure. You go back to the doctor. You're like, I did the show. I ripped your fucking heart monitor off. Suck my dick. What the fuck? Like,
they checked on me about the heart monitor, and I just told them I took it off.
I'm sure he was pissed, right?
No, he was just like, okay, whatever, as long as you feel okay. And I was like, all right.
Why the fuck? Then why give me the heart monitor in the first place?
Well, they just didn't know. They were like, if you feel okay, if it ever comes back, just come see us or whatever.
All right.
And I was like, all right. So no epilepsy, no nothing. I was just. That's when I started to think about, okay, maybe I should like work out and like sleep and stuff.
Yeah,
and then
eat food. You know?
You're not still on 4 hours.
No. So I started like to realize how much better I was at rapping when I actually would sleep more, anyways. Because I'm like, my brain wasn't fried. Like, do you ever try to do something when you're off with like 3 hours of sleep?
Yeah,
it's like difficult.
My whole 20
I was just like, I was like forcing myself. Like I was counting the hours of like, I was logging the hours of how much time I was spending in the studio every week so that I could be like, all right, I'm doing this much hours in the studio.
Okay.
Right. But at the same time, those hours weren't that productive because I'm like forcing it. So I just learned how to balance my life a lot better. And then we made a project called What Can I Say? And then What Can I Say is a three track. And basically all it was me explaining kind of like, because I felt kind of weird. Like I was like, I just had a high of the show and I had a low of my health in my life. Like I never had a health scare, like you said. And so I'm over here feeling weird. Like, is this going to be a problem for me in the future? Is it not? I don't know. So all I said was I'm just going to make a song, like an album about trying to get back into the headspace of where I was at right before it happened, which was like coming off of the success and stuff like that.
I was just going to ask, how did like that experience affect making music?
Well, I just felt
like
weird.
your writing.
I just felt weird. I didn't really know. So that was the first time I locked in with a producer.
Did it change like your mindset of like how you wrote? The perspective of how you wrote?
And that, for that particular album, 100%. All that album was like straight motivation about just like headspace. And like, you know, I was really listening to Nipsey Hussle a lot at the time too. And it was just like, it was all about like getting your headspace to feel like a champion or to feel like a winner or something like that. And so, yeah, we did that project. And then when we were creating like the visual content for it, we're like, yo, how do we make something impactful? How do we tell a story? How do we get people to care about the music? And my manager was like, yo, why don't we just tell the story that that just happened to you? And we made a short film called What Can I Say? And in the short film, we actually had rented out a hospital, which they let us do for free, by the way. We just asked, and they were like, yeah, you could have the whole wing.
Oh,
So
wait, what hospital is this?
I forget the name, bro. I forget the name. No. It's in the North Shore. It's in the North Shore. But yeah, my manager had just knew somebody who worked there, and his mom knew them, so they just happened to let us have it. And so then the nurse was like, yeah, sure, I'll be in the video. Like, she helped us out, like making it look like I'm actually like in the hospital, just got there. So we shot that. Then we had live footage from the show, so we kind of clipped it together, and then we had moments of me like prepping for the show, me like running and like working out and stuff like that. And it's a really cool short film. Like it's like 10 minutes long. It's all 3 songs played throughout the project or throughout the video. And I had a lot of people who still remember that project because they're like, I've never just like, that was just weird. Like, I've never seen anything like it.
Was it a concept record?
No, it wasn't. The project itself, no. But the video was the concept, you know?
Huh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
I'll check it.
So where do you move like from that? Now that you got your confidence back, all that shit back, you're on top of your game. Where are you now?
So I was doing What Can I Say, which is that project. Mm-hmm. It took a while to do that project because the video itself was like a 6-month process to really get it from the original video to what it was, like just to create a story. Like getting the producer came from LA, like just to get it right was just like a whole process and a whole project in itself.
How do you get a producer to come up from LA?
I had an advisor who just knew a guy who was really good at making films, and he was very creative, and he just kind of captured it.
So you're like funding the dream and shit here. Like, you're putting money into this. You're investing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, all of this is like, you know, I have a team of people that not just me investing in it. You know what I mean? And it's a group effort. It was always a group effort, and so we were just making, you know, we're trying to make these moves. We were trying to make these moments that people could relate to and really like take it in. But you know, we had issues. There was issues with just the release dates, and we had bigger plans, and then sometimes plans would fall through. And so there were a couple years in between where I was doing like I did like a freestyle video every month type thing all throughout, which was like 2023. Then there was I did a song with like, and then, you know.
Can you tell us about the project that you have, like, you're promoting right now? Or that will be when we.
Yeah. So the Shelter Tape is the current project, and it's coming out November.
Where does the name come from?
The Shelter Tape comes from living in a shelter home.
Obviously.
Right. And
is there a lot of stuff on the album?
The story is funny because I hadn't been back to the shelter home since I left it, right? And one day I got a new car. I just felt really good. Like, I was like, man, like, you know, I feel like I came a long way from living in a shelter home to now. And the car is a brand new Audi. So I'm like, you know, I was working at Audi. So I'm like, you know, it's a brand new Audi. Like, I feel like successful. Like, I feel good. So I was like, let me go back there. I just bought it like maybe the day after.
Do the same people still run it and stuff?